go for surgery.
Oh no! That's terrible. Hi, Lauren.
Hey! I gotta go get my ball cap. Tarah.
I know, right? No, but you guys are not lying. But I'm actually this is live. Oh my God.
My whole plan was I was just on a call with Cammie, and I was just like, this is what you get. Like, I have not bathed in a couple days. I have this new spray deodorant that is lovely, and it's like you kind of do what you got to do. There's some layers of dry shampoo in here. I've played tennis. I've sweat. Life.
It's so funny because like if I ever do like my hair or makeup, like Adam or Noah, like they'll be like, "Where are you going, Mom?" And I'm like, I just got dressed for the day. Actually, I just decided to do something like
really sad. Really sad.
It is.
Is Twyla on?
She is.
Where? Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Lauren. She is gonna cry. Okay, Twyla, fill us in because we want to hear from you if you can.
I'm okay. It's just been a long week.
You're ready for Halloween.
I am. That's what I said. I don't have to dress up this year.
Frankenstein's bride.
Guys, you guys are terrible.
Sorry.
You're beautiful.
Tarah, Twyla has already fought and defeated thyroid cancer, but it came back. So she just had surgery to remove the nodes.
Yeah.
She's like, how do you get thyroid syndrome when you don't have a thyroid?
I know.
And you're on the call. Like, you just had surgery, and you're on this call.
Really? I know. I'm going to be like, y'all have no excuse. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe had back surgery. It's insane. We have hardcore girls in our group.
Oh, my God.
Cammie literally had a cut all the way down her back, through the muscle, all this stuff. Like, a week ago? Yeah, ridiculous. We're falling apart. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no.
Ice pack.
In my eye. Well,
My
I don't.
best friend.
Ice pack pain management. Good job, Cammie.
Oh, my goodness.
But I wanted you guys to know really quickly. I literally asked Tarah to do this call 2 days ago. After the national wake up call, I had to listen to the replay, Tarah, sorry. I was sitting there waiting for my daughter at soccer, and I was just like, yes.
That was good.
Like, our stories kind of mirror each other, the military part, although she was able to get her husband out. I can't.
I had to drag him, kind of.
So he would be AWOL. We'd go to jail. It would be counterproductive. But just what she shared, I think a lot of us as coaches and leaders, we go through a growth period where we just push. And, we have these businesses maybe blow up and they're just insane. And then we have to learn how to manage that. I mean, we have to learn how to lead, and we have to learn where to go from there. And Tarah's had to find balance. And it's been so fun to watch her, because when I became a coach, she's the person I looked up to, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Tarah Carr. I went to leadership, and I was just like, someone said, did you talk to her? I was like, nope, not at all. But like such a baby. And I'm like, she's a person. She's a mom. She doesn't shower. She's just like me. And I want
She doesn't shower.
We stink together.
We do.
In the good way. Like,
Pretty soon they're going to call us Team Smelly.
That's right. We should rename it, not Thrive. It's called Team Babe, Team Smelly. But everything she said, I just wanted her to kind of come on the call and elaborate on to my leaders. And this is recorded, so everyone will get to see it. We have people who work jobs and time. She used to live in Japan. She knows time zones. So Anyway, I will be quiet because Tara is an awesome speaker. And she has this week, she met with Shalene Johnson on Monday. And Shalene was like, you have 1 week to get your junk together, and then you're off the grid for 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, so can you do my call Thursday? And then I'll leave you alone. And she's like, I can do Thursday. Okay, good. So she's like got a couple of days, and then she's going to be like, out, Girl Scout. So I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Just let her chat.
Yeah. No, I am super thankful that you reached out to me. I don't actually do a whole lot of team calls because it's something I try to honor my priorities. And in the beginning of my business, like I was just like stretched super thin, like Laffy Taffy, because I have a heart of wanting to serve everyone. And so I just wanted to give as much as I could. And so I'd say yes to everything. So when Lauren reached out, I was like, yes, I would love to. Because like she said, we have such similar hearts and whys and just stories on what we do. And I feel like obviously you attract the people who are most like you. So I'm like, oh, Lauren's leader is awesome. Like we're going to jive and get each other because Lauren and I are so much alike. So I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, I talked about on the national wake up call, how I got to 5-star and how I just didn't even feel like a true 5-star because it was like, let's be honest, friends and family. I'm like, Mom, I just think you're social. Like, don't ask questions. Like, come on. Like, I need you to be a diamond coach. So it was just, one of those things where I got there and I'm like, I developed 2 leaders to diamond that I had met on Facebook, but I was second guessing everything. I'm like, how do I hit Success Club? How do I invite people? I don't even know how to do that. And it was so silly, but it was because I was so focused on what everybody else was doing. And I was hearing like, okay, you've got to post 3 times on social media. 1 has to be fitness. 1 has to be personal. It can't be salesy. Don't use logos. Don't talk too much about the programs. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so when I work out, should I post a sweaty selfie? Because everybody says those are bad now. Like, what do I do? But the sweaty selfies built my business. Like like when I was just a customer and I was excited that I did my workout. And so I didn't think about it. I just posted it, or I posted pictures of my Shakeology or whatever that was. And so I realized that I was overcomplicating the process and I was stopping my new coaches from getting obsessed and excited about how the business like I was in the beginning, because that's how people, you get some eye rolls from people, but you start to stick to them a little bit where they're like, okay, why is she so obsessed with this? Why does she love this so more? So I stopped being so meticulous with my team and saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Instead, I switched it. And instead of saying don't to anything, I just encouraged their strengths on what they were already doing to tweak it to make it a little bit better. So if I saw them posting a ton of sweaty selfies on social media, I didn't say, don't do that. Don't post selfies, those are bad. I just said, I love your workout pictures. I love how consistent you are. I think it's great that you work out every day because not everybody can do that. But one tip I would give you to encourage you to change things up a little bit is why don't you post a sweaty selfie every other day? Or when you do post a sweaty selfie, why don't you make it a call to action and ask them to post their sweaty selfie below for accountability? And so instead of making them analyze in their head like too much about the process, I just tried to break it down to like how simple it was when I was a coach and the things that I focused on. So the point is 5-star though. So, Lauren talked about how like you get to a certain point in your business where you find out they have a team and you feel overwhelmed. You don't know what you're doing. You're like, oh my gosh. It reminded me of Megan Ingleton's post today where she was like, postpartum hair loss is like, just go away. Like you are not cool. Like I'm losing all my hair. There's hairballs everywhere. And I started laughing so hard because this morning as I was looking in the mirror, I have like, you can see like all my little baby hairs are coming back. Like if you've had a baby, you know what I'm talking about. Like you lose them right here in the front. You're like, this sucks. Like I'm like losing all this hair. But then it starts to go back and it's just that annoying phase where they're like bothering you and you want to just like stick them back with hairspray, but you're only going to make it worse. And it reminded me of coaching because it's just like the shedding process of your hair. Like you have this real thick hair, but if you keep pulling it back and you're tough on it and you're putting it in hair ties, or you go through a traumatic, awesome thing like bringing a child and birthing a baby into this world, you've got to go through a shedding process. And you've got to go through that painful moment of waiting and being patient for your hair to regrow. But when it finally happens, you're like, oh, my hair is back. And so that's kind of how coaching, it reminds me of that because I've gone through these painful growing phases in my business where they were just like, I think I'm going to quit. I just like, is this even worth it? But I had to take that back and be like, absolutely it's worth it because I had to remember what I was fighting for. So when you're in your business and you're getting overwhelmed and you're asking yourself like, okay, well, I don't feel like I can hit success level. I don't feel like I'm organized, and I don't feel like I have this. It's as simple as asking yourself if you're truly applying yourself to your business and if you're working your business. Because if the answer to that every day is not no, then you can't be upset or defeated at where you're not in your business. Like I just met with one of my coaches who's fishing for elite this year, and she has all the points, but she's struggling to get to 5-star. And she's like, I'm so upset. She's like, Tarah, I need this so bad. Like, I can't not be an elite coach again this year. Like, I've gone to Argentina with you because Adam was gone. I've gone here, but like, I want to earn this myself. And I said, so what do you feel is the biggest thing holding you back? And she said, it's my team. My team's just not doing it. They're not getting there. And I said, well, what are you doing for your team? Like, what are you doing to encourage them? Like, instead of being frustrated at them, like, what is the moments for you that you're pouring love into them because you're so excited for what they're doing? And she's like, I don't do that enough. I get more frustrated at what they don't do. And I said, okay, so you're focusing on the negative things that they're doing. And I said, are you consistent every day? And she's like, well, when Matt was deployed, I kind of lost life. I got to call off the grid for August, September, and okay, yeah, I guess July, but I was there for Summit. And I said, so you went away for 3 months? She's like, yeah, pretty much. And I said, so you're upset with your team because your team, you don't feel like is giving it 100%, but it was okay for you to leave for 3 months and have a life moment. And she was like, dang it, because she didn't look at it like that. And I said, so I'm not mad at you that you had a life moment because I knew Matt was deployed. So do you recall, what I did for you? And she started bawling. She's like, you sent me flowers, you sent me handwritten cards, like you just got me through life. And that's why I'm still here today, because you just got me through life. And so you have to remember with this coaching business that your team isn't always going to be hoorah rah, let's hit Success Club. I want to be a 5-star diamond coach. And if they do, that's great. But to get them through those regrowing pains of that hair loss, and they're in that rebuilding phase of growing their hair, you just have to learn to love and support them and look at the true qualities that they bring to your team. Because I have some of the most amazing team members that are glued to our team that hold us together because they just pour love and encouragement to people when they're down on the team page. They are like the FAQ gurus. Like you ask a question and they're like, oh, FAQ section 2563. I memorized that last week. You're like, okay, cool. Because I don't know any of that stuff. But they're so helpful, right? But they may be that person who they feel stuck at Emerald for a year, but don't look at that and look at that as a failure, because to them, that might be where they want to be. They might love being an Emerald and love serving in the team page. So you just have to be open and honest with your coaches that you bring in. And I hope you have some way to form their strengths on what they can do for the team as a whole. And so one of the things that I do and I implement with all of my new leaders is I have a Google intake form, and I have them do a test so I can find out what their gem is. And I know if they're Ruby, a Pearl, an Emerald, or a Sapphire. I have them fill out a test to see what their love language is immediately. I need to know how they feel most valued when they join my team, because I'm a Ruby type personality. I can be really hard on people. Mixed with the Sapphire, my ADD is all over the place. So like I'm really hard on you, but then I forget about things. And so it's like, oh my gosh. So I had to learn that personality trait will make a Pearl want to go hide in a cave and never come out again. Because I'm just like, where are you? What are you doing? And they're like, I'm just trying to serve people. So I had you have to learn, how can I tap to these personality types? How can I make people feel most valued? And as long as you're always doing that, and you're always knowing where people are at in their heart in this business, then there's never going to be those seasons where you feel like everything is just falling apart. Like you might have someone falling apart for a moment, but you're going to know how to pick them back up. And so you're not going to feel like you're constantly in this rebuilding phase of your team, which is a big thing that I went through after I hit 15-star. I was like, woohoo, check in the box, 15 superstar diamond. And then like all of a sudden everyone started falling apart. And I was like, okay, crap. And so what holds me 15-star now are completely, entirely different diamonds than what got me 15-star the first time, which is just mind-blowing for me to think about, because it's an entirely different thing, but the same rank. So it was because I wasn't serving and loving on my people like I should have the first time around. And I decided to do like a second chance opportunity for those people, because I know how to do it now. I know how to make them feel valued and loved. But I feel like the root of this coaching business is more, and I'm sure that you can agree, the root though of coaching with your coaches is just making someone feel seen. And I know for me, the reason what was so welcoming and inviting to Beachbody was I was stranded on an island. I really didn't have any friends yet because I was brand new. I am a huge introvert, which people don't think that, but I love to just be a homebody with my family. Like, unless I'm going to a Beachbody event, it's very rare that I'm hanging out with people, unless like Melissa McAllister forces her way into my home, or Ali Upham, because it's just one of those things where they're like, I'm flying to you. And I'm like, okay. But like, I don't leave often. So for me, Beachbody just made me feel a part of something. I just wanted to feel like I had a family, because I didn't always feel like I had that as a child. I had a lot of trust issues. You know, my dad walked down on us when I was little, always had broken promises.
What do you mean you cheated?
Not the greatest relationship, you know, with other areas in my life. And so I loved it. You know, it was a place for me to turn to where it was a family. And so you have to remember that sometimes people on your team, they're just there because they love being a part of you guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. And everyone serves a purpose and a point for your team. So even if they're just an active coach and they've been an active coach for 3 years because they just love Shakeology and they think it's super fun to hang out at Summit with you guys, that's okay. That's okay. And you have to learn to love and serve and value them just as much as you would one of your diamonds, your 5 stars, or your elite coaches, because they all serve their purpose. And that was just, I guess for me, the big sigh off of my business of the pressure. Like, I felt like I had this increasing pressure as I grew in rank, because I thought I only had to focus on diamonds. And my only job was to grow diamonds and rank up, because it was like, that was what corporate recognizes, right? Is they see us for rank and they see for elite. But behind the scenes, that pressure wasn't good on my team, because that's not how I saw them, but because that's how I was putting it on them, that's how they felt. And I had to have that leadership uncomfortable moment where I said, how can I be a better leader to you guys? If you've never asked your team that, you got to ask your team that. How can I be a better leader? And in fact, do it on a Survey Monkey, so they know that they can share authentically and just honestly forthright how they truly feel, and know that you don't know who it's coming from. It's just a Survey Monkey. And when I did that, I was prepared for the answers, and knowing these people are telling me this out of love because they love me. They're not telling me this because they're trying to hurt my feelings, or they're trying to be bullies, or they're trying to be mean. They're saying this because they want to make it right. They want to fix it. So, I mean, that's something I always teach my kids. If you do something wrong, you gotta make it right. You either need to go apologize, you need to go, you know, say sorry to your teacher, go make it right with your friends, whatever that may be. You got to make it right. And so I feel it's the same thing with your coaches. Say in the team page, you know, I'm in a season right now where I'm growing to be a better leader. And I'm just wondering if you could fill out this anonymous monkey survey on how I could do things better to effectively lead this team. And maybe even have like, how like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you feel on this team? 1 the least, 10, you guys couldn't live without me. It was crushing to me to see that we had over 6,000 people on our team, and thousands of them felt like a 1. And I thought to myself, how do all of these people feel like they don't matter on my team? And it was because I was putting so much emphasis on diamond and, you know, rank. And then that was because that was a pressure that was being put on me. But my purpose in this business and my purpose in life isn't to make someone only feel value tied to a rank. It's to make everyone feel like they matter, because I always felt like I did matter my whole life. And that's all I want out of this, is for people to just know their purpose through life and to know that God loves them. And so if I wasn't serving my job and my team with that, then that's where I felt like an inadequate leader. So I really changed things up with how I made people feel valued. I do those monthly surveys all the time. In fact, I'm due to do one on my own team page here soon. But just know that don't get down on yourself about it, and also understand that sometimes some of the things that come back on those surveys, they're not true. And other people's opinions don't define you. And so there were some really, I guess you could say, like off the wall comments, you know, that I got where people were like, I feel like you are a traitor, you know, I feel like you are greedy, and I feel like you're about money. And like, I know that that's not who I am, but that was just their perception. But I didn't have to take that to heart and be like, oh, these things are true about me. So understand that not everything on that monkey survey is going to be true and accurate, but if it's a thing that you can tell where it's coming from love, just know that they're doing it because they want to make your team better. Lastly, ask for your customers and your coaches' strengths in their group. Instead of delegating out and acting like a boss and saying, all right, you're going to do this team call, you're going to do this webinar, you're going to do this 5-day sneak peek, say, what do you feel are your best strengths to add to this team? You know, I really value you and I love you as a leader, but I'd love to know, where do you feel most confident at in this business? Is it behind a video camera? Is it recognizing coaches that, you know, have hit success covering advance and praising them on a call? Is it, you know, answering questions in our team page? I just want to know where you feel most valued. And where they feel their greatest strengths are, ask them if they could step up, because the biggest thing I learned is that you can't assume that people are in your head. You can't assume like, well, I don't get it. My diamonds don't ever offer to do my calls. Like, why don't they do that? My emeralds don't offer to step up. Well, it's because they don't know that you want their help. A lot of times they look at us like we're just these, I got everything, I'm super mom, like I handle it all. But unless you reach out with intentions and saying, I really value you and I need your help. You know, this team needs you. And if they want to help, they will. And if they don't, again, don't be upset with them. Like, you don't contribute, you're God. You know, it's nothing like that. It's just how do you feel like you can best help this team with your strengths? And then reward them for that. And I don't mean reward with, you always have to buy something. The best rewards I've ever given in this business have been handwritten, I call them love letters, because in the military, there is nothing like getting a handwritten letter from your man when he's been gone for months and you're just like, oh my gosh, I received a letter. Like, I was the psycho crazy lady in the post office where Adam and I had like this code system and we would send them in red envelopes. And so anytime I opened up with a little key and I saw a red envelope, it would be like immediate tears. And the guy that would pick up my mail from my boxes would always be like, probably thinking I was this really sad, miserable person, because he'd always be, are you okay? Do you want me to like carry out your boxes, or like, do you need a hug or something? And I'm like, I'm all right. And, like, I would never explain it to him. Like, so he's asking what's wrong with her. But it was just, I always looked forward to it because it made me know that he was thinking about me. He was thinking about me enough to get out a piece of paper and to write a note to me and to have to put a stamp on it. And I know that sounds so ridiculous, but in today's world where everything is so go, 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 fast, 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 send off an email, send off a Facebook, it's just a quick send. I can hit enter, I can hit send, but it takes more time to get out a piece of paper or to meticulously pick out a thoughtful card at Target, which don't go to Target usually, like 50 other things I always do. But it takes that much more time to go there and think of something, of someone to be like, gosh, I just posted about this week about frogs, and she sent me a frog card, and it had this message. You know, that's what people remember, is that you thought of them. And as long as you can always think of people and put people first in this business, your team will always make you feel much more rich than any money can ever make you feel in this business, first of all. But second of all, you'll have a tribe of leaders, like lifers, like Shalene talks about. And I really don't think that there's any magic system to it. Everyone's always waiting for that blueprint, and they look at, you know, top successful coaches and they're like, what do they do? What's their magic system? And I joked with my team, because while I was at Shalene's house, I told Lauren, I kind of got ripped into a little bit, you know, lovingly from her. And I need that from her. I need that pressure and I need that push. But it was kind of like a counseling session, you know, with Adam and I, where Shalene would be like, Tara, you're not allowed to talk for 5 minutes. Adam, how does that make you feel? And he'd talk, and I'd be like, but then she's like, yeah, your time's not right now. And so, like, it was those moments, though, where we had to talk about the things in our business that triggered each other, and what does it frustrate him the most that I do, and, you know, what not, and vice versa. And the thing that was funny was that, like, we don't have a system on our team. It's been 4 years and we don't have a system. We don't have a team training site. Like, we don't have like that techie, like password login portal stuff. And I always thought, like, well, I'm just not smart enough for that stuff. So, like, I just don't do it. Like, I just post in my Facebook group and, like, I guess that's okay. And Shalene said it's not. So I'm basically getting yanked from the world for 3 weeks. I'm allowed to post on Facebook. I'm just not allowed to respond to comments or messages. But we're getting yanked from the world to implement a training system, because one of the most important questions she asked Adam was, if Tara got into a car accident and went into a coma for a month, would you know how to pick up and do exactly everything she does? And he was like, nope, I don't even know how to log into our bank account. So, like, it was just like one of those moments where we were like, yeah, we've got a lot of work to do there. And so you have to understand, you know, I've been in this for 4.5 years now. I still have a lot of work to do, because this business will never be done. There's never a moment where you can just kick back and be like, wow, it was a great run. Like, this is great. Like, keep drinking Shakeology. It never happens. Like, you have to constantly evolve as a leader. You have to tell your team when you messed up, which my video to them was like, I love you guys. I'm going to miss you guys so much. Like, I bawled to Shalene because it gave me anxiety thinking about not being there for my team because that's what I do. But I know it's for the greater good because I know that I need to create systems, and I know that I have to have the training for them all in one space. You know, I make them all the time, and then I just throw them out there on YouTube, or I throw them out there on Facebook. And that's a disservice to the new coaches coming onto our team, because that means they have to sift through files and files or posts or whatever. And I was like, guys, I messed up, right? Because I'm teaching you guys how to create the same hectic mess. So instead, I'm going to simplify everything for you. And we're going to put in a lot of extra elbow grease and work this week, but we're going to make it right. So like for me, that's another situation of like when you mess up, apologize, make it right. And not that I messed up like where it's like a terrible thing and you're expected to do that as a leader, but I feel like you get to a certain level and things are expected of you, you know, to lead right and do whatnot. So that's pretty much what I got for you, Lauren. I know that you wanted to talk about leadership, but if you want to ask questions, you know I'm always game for that. Or if anybody else has questions too, please feel free to.
It's funny, and I'm gonna talk first because I wanna get these things out. I didn't realize how much Tarah and I were alike until she just shared all that, because apart from the military part and just the way that we lead and the corporate pushing and feeling like you're just pushing numbers, and I'm gonna cry because that's how I felt the last 3 years, is push the numbers, get to this rank, push your team, focus on diamond, go, go, go. And I'm realizing now that I have to come to my team and ask forgiveness because I put that above some of the relationships. And that's not why we do this.
Right.
And I talk about the reason that we coach is the relationships. And when someone says they want to get to diamond, it's like okay, we're going to focus on that and only that. And you have to backpedal and you have to make it right. And so, you know, I didn't know what Tarah was going to talk about, but I was seeing her writing things down, and I'm also an introvert. I could stay at home by myself all the time. Like, that's how I recharge. People think, oh, she's on stage and she's so great. But I have to retreat and sit in the back of the room. And that's how I recharge, not around people. And so I could sit here and not shower for like a week and really just like live in my own grossness, but work my tail off because I love it. But that's not what I have. That's not what I need to do for my family, for you guys. And that personal touch. I was talking to Amy in the grocery store the other day, and we just let life get in the way. You know, we had to reconnect because Amy's my friend first. And we moved away, and like Tarah, my family is all over the world because of the military. And that's just how it is. I didn't think I had anything for me. So Beachbody has been that. And my husband understands that. So I don't want to wreck it with being so driven and so ruby that I forget the sapphire. I'm so ADD. Like, it's been, and I say I'm not, but I have an ADD child. Hello. And everyone says she's me, and she's so me. Amy says Taylor.
Noah, that's my oldest one. I'm like, oh, Lord help me.
She's like my blueprint. She's my stamp. She's my, it's annoying as heck, but that's us. It's like, look, anyway. So I'm trying to fix this, and I have such strong, amazing leaders on our team that now I'm just like, I want that relationship again, and they're moving on. And I want them to so badly, but I also want that intimacy that was the reason I started doing this in the first place. And so I've been humbling myself and coming to you guys individually if I've wronged you. And I didn't know what Tarah was going to say again, but I just kept writing down, I'm going to do that survey, and it's going to suck. But it's what needs to happen for me to be a better leader for you guys, for this team. And if you don't need anything from me and you're moving on, that's another thing. But if I want to learn how to grow, but I want you to take what she said and not make the same mistakes that I did. And that's the point here, is I'm 3 years into this. You're 1, 2, maybe close to 3 as well. And I don't want you guys to have to backpedal and fix like I am. I want you to learn from my mistakes and be stronger leaders. But if you want to asked her questions. Please ask her questions.
Yeah, and just to touch on that too, Lauren, I talked about that too with my team. I went to individual coaches because the one aha moment for me was that when I first got to 15 star with a lot of those diamonds that made me 15 star, I also got stressed, you got to have a buffer. And so I had like 21 that helped me qualify for that. And when that all gosh, what's happening, and I went through a rebuilding phase, I realized that a lot of those diamonds that got to diamond, their life was in shambles. They lost their marriages. They had no relationships with their kids. They were gaining weight again. They weren't even doing the vital behavior of like taking care of themselves. They weren't doing personal development. They were solely focused on, I gotta get to diamond. Like I gotta get to diamond. It's so important. I gotta get to diamond. I gotta hit Success Club. And I realized for me that as a coach and a mentor of what really does drive me in life is that I was failing them in the most important thing and teaching them that I put my marriage first and that I put my kids first and that I take off on the weekends and I'm not working like that. So why am I not teaching them that? And that was a learning lesson that I had to learn through because I didn't always do that, right? Because my husband was always deployed. And so when he would come home, I'm like, hallelujah, take the kids. And like, I would just check out because I'm like, I need a break. But I wasn't thinking about him. Like, hello, this man's just been in Afghanistan. And I'm like, I need a break, like what? Like, oh my gosh. But he would so graciously do it. And he would be like, baby, you've been going nonstop. I'm so proud of you. Why don't you let me take the kids for a week? And I would take that as like, please take them for like a month. Like, you can do that time. Like, that's awesome. And he would do it. And then he would get to a breaking point and we would just be like, boom. Because all of a sudden, I'm stressed about Beachbody. I'm holding for rank. I'm doing this. And he's like, if you don't love what you do anymore, then why are you doing it? And that was such an aha moment to me because I'm like, no. I do love what I'm doing. He's like, no, you're venting. You're concerned about what other coaches are doing. You're frustrated. You don't feel valued if you're not praised. Like, it's like, you're so Ruby. Like, I don't get it. And I realized, like Lauren said, it's okay to be Ruby, but I also have to tone it down a little bit because I can't let being a Ruby ruin my life. And I had to realize that I had to reach out to those people that I had pushed like that because I just thought they wanted to be pushed like that. They said they wanted to be diamonds. So I was like, great, let's push you. And I pushed them to stress. I pushed them to probably fight maybe in their marriage. And I felt responsible for that. And so I reached out to a lot of those people and, some of them moved on, like Lauren said, but some of them came back and they're so much stronger in their business because they were able to learn from my mistakes on how I was able to fix that. But it's also something that you can't fester on and live on forever, right? Like we all make mistakes. We realize it. We ask for forgiveness and then we move on. And then if that person doesn't move on past that and they can't get over the hump themselves, like that's not your responsibility because you humbled yourself, you asked for forgiveness, you've moved on, you're trying to teach them. If they're still stuck, they're stuck. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. And so that's also a big thing that I had to realize is that I had to let some relationships go. Because as much as I wanted to help them, there was a lot of really broken people that I was attracting and they were staying broken as much as I was pouring into them. And their brokenness was bleeding into my life and it was making me just regurgitated to my husband of all this just frustration and venting and I can't handle it. And he's like, again, do you love what you really do? Because you sound really like you kind of hate it right now. And I was like, no, I do love it. So there's just this give and take that I had to always ask myself, is what we're talking about positive? Are we being proactive or reactive? Because I love to do calls with people. I love to motivate them. I love to pep talk them. But if every time we do a call and it's just draining and it's life and it's just this and it's just that, and every time we do a call there's no changes, calls have to stop. So you also have to protect your time because that time is your energy. And if you're surrounding yourself by a bunch of people that are just draining with the negative energy out of you, you're going to just feel defeated in this business. And that's going to pass off to your spouse, your kids, and the prospects that you bring into this business. So I also think it's very key to just protect yourself of that and also don't want to just put the brakes on and say, we can't do a call until, I call it fix your face. My team laughs so hard. But I'm like, we can't do another call until you fix your face. Because I can't deal with this right now. You got to do personal development. I'm talking you need to read the whole thing. There's no I fell off for a week and this is my 17,000 time doing push. This is fix your face and let's talk in a month. And I'll be able to tell if you're in the right mindset to work with me. So you got to have a little bit of tough love too when it comes down to it, because not everything's your fault. And in this business, you can also get into that mindset where you take blame for everything, because then you just start feeling guilty. You're like, it's all my fault. I'm a horrible person, but you're not. You're human, and everyone makes mistakes. But it's just recognizing them and moving on from it. So it's funny, Lauren, but that's what I just chose to talk as a topic, and that's also what you've been struggling with. But God works in that way, like He always has. He says what you need to hear, and we all go through it, but I don't think people talk about it enough. So
well, and it's funny because what you're about to do with Adam, we have a team site with a password, and we did all of our training that way, but I had my assistant help me with that, because like you, I was like, I don't even want to mess with that. I will jack it up. Right. I'm not that smart. So my assistant is awesome, and she did that for us with our content. But my husband doesn't pay bills. He doesn't know passwords. If I were to fall and crack my head open, he would be like, lost. Right. So it's funny, but it's also, it might not, I'm sure it's not just a military thing, but it's what you have to do when your husband's deployed, because they won't even talk to you if your cable goes out or your electricity goes off if his name is on the bill. Right. Like when everything is in your name, your husband goes hands off. And so like everything, and we have to now get to that point as well. So what you're saying with Adam is something that Chris and I have to go through. And so our lives are marrying each other just a little bit. You're just like a little bit ahead of me. So
not that far.
No.
I got in trouble.
I'm older than you. But I did like that you talked about your strengths, because each of these ladies pictured in our Brady Bunch picture here, even the ones I know that that's Leslie, and I think that's Carrie, from the phone numbers. They're uniquely individual, and what they bring to this team is something I can't. And so, like, I am not an encourager. Amy has the raps on that. She is like the master, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, right, crap, forgot that. It's not my love language. Gifts. You want a gift? I've got that wrapped up, literally, in the mail, maybe. But words of affirmation, not me. And so that's something I have to work with my coaches, my kids, my husband. And it's funny how Beachbody allows you to see those things in your life that can really impact even your family. And so these ladies, though, bring to the table what I can't. And so it's really cool to see how we all work together. But yeah, you said exactly what
and one of those
needs to be said.
Yeah, and one of those things too, last tip, if you're not good with words of affirmation, which I like to receive them, I'm just not typically good at remembering to give them. I like to give them. My ADD just forgets. Like I'll like see something, I'm like, oh, I can't believe that happened to Audrey. I'll have to reach out to her. 2 months later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I never wrote her. Like, but it's like in my heart. It's like I like telepathically I'm thinking it, so like I feel like it counts. So I had to create an interest list on my personal Facebook page of just my personally sponsored coaches, or the people on my team that really stick out to me. The people that really stick out to me, on my team that maybe are going like above and beyond in our team page. And so I created an interest list on my personal page. I don't operate on my personal page at all. I do everything on my like page, but on my personal page is where I say personal. So it also makes them feel a little bit more special, because they know I don't work my personal page. So they're like, oh my gosh, she's on a personal page and she just commented or liked one of my things, because it's personal. My business page is my business page. My personal is my personal. So when I go to the interest list and I click on it, all I'm seeing in my newsfeed from that interest list are the people I put on it. So they're only my coaches. So I make it a goal every single morning to scroll for 30 minutes on that interest list, liking and commenting, only giving words of affirmation to the people that have poured into me. And so that's my way of remembering to do it. Otherwise, like it would be like individually typing in everyone's name, right? And I'd be like,
well, and also Facebook decides what you see. So unless you purposely, because I've had coaches go, did you see my post? And I'm like, I didn't. I'm so sorry. I didn't see it. Right. It's not that I don't like you, promise. But creating that interest list, clicking on that, you only see the people you want to see and not who Facebook thinks you need to see. Because I'm like, I suck. I missed like this huge thing, and I would have said, way to go, but it's too late now.
Right.
But yeah, it happens all the time to me.
Yeah.
It's like you write a text and you never send it.
I like story of my life every day. Like, thankfully, I'm really open with my team. Like, they know I'm so squirrely that I got a squirrel like diamond encrusted necklace because they know I like bling and it's a squirrel. So I'm like,
That's
this is
funny.
the best gift ever. Like, crazy. But I can't use that as an excuse.
No,
Because like, if you think about it with your parenting, I'm doing this thing called a take two opportunity. And one of my lessons in that is that you have to hold yourself accountable. So I could sit here and say, I'm really messy because I was never taught to clean my room or pick up after myself. Or I don't remember things because I have ADD. Or I was obese because no one ever taught me to eat healthy. I just ate a bunch of bad food and I could do whatever I want. Or I'm really bad with our finances and we're in a lot of debt because no one ever taught me how to budget right. You know, like I could say all of these things and I could blame all of these people. But when you become a parent, you've got to think about it in a different perspective and say, would it be okay 15 years from now if Noah and Jonah didn't know how to balance a checkbook or respect money or themselves? Would it be okay if they didn't survive or thrive in this world because they were just late to everything and they were disrespectful to people or whatever? Like, if I used all these things as excuses as to why I'm not doing them, and my kids, they repeat our actions more than our words, so now they're being a duplicate of me, am I okay with that? And when I ask myself those things and I look at my kids, I'm not okay with that. Like, I want my kids to make their bed every day. I want my kids to learn to take their plate to the sink when they're done and pick up after themselves. I want my kids to have a good relationship with money. Like, I want all of these things for them, but the only way to do that is to lead by example. And so if you've got things in your life where you feel like, just that I can't, sorry, that's just me, like I can't change, you can. You just have to purposely focus on it because it won't change unless you make an effort to change it. So that's, I don't know, for me, it's just a mindset. I know I say it, and it sounds so easier said than done, like just change your mind and fix your face, but it's so true. Like, you just have, it's something you have to purposely focus on every single day. So
what was the name of the book Amy was asking?
For the marriage one?
Yeah.
No, sorry. The it's a group I'm doing. It's like a mentorship I created. It's called Take Two. Yeah. So no, it's just it's something that's been on my heart for a while, and like since we're not allowed to write books in Beachbody, I was like, well, I guess this is the second best thing I can do. So it's just called a Take Two mentorship, and I'm doing like video series and like all sorts of like worksheets and stuff with people. But the first assignment for me in that is to tell them, like, you're not blaming anyone and you need to take accountability before you even enter this thing. Because if you're not in that mindset to take accountability for what you don't do in your life or what's failing in your business, then you'll never move forward, because that's the first step is recognizing and realizing that it starts with you. So hopefully that was helpful.
It was very helpful. I really appreciate your time, Tarah, because I know you're trying to take care of your team before you go off the grid, but it means a lot to me and my team that you took the time.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Does anybody have any questions before we hop off?
Unmute yourself.
I was like, I thought I was muted. Oh, I see the one. What was the name of that book?
I just want to tell you that your authenticity on the National Wake Up Call was amazing. Like,
thank you
so much. So yeah, just being real and you just being, putting it all out there, it was really touched my life. And then I was able to share something that my husband and I have been going through. So it was awesome. So, which is a ripple effect to other people. So yeah, it was great.
And I think that's why I got emotional at the end. It was so funny because, like, people know I'm a crybaby. I can't help it. Crybaby. And so I've cried every National Wake Up Call I've done. I've cried every single one. And I was like, all right, 7 is supposed to be the lucky number. This is my 7th call. I'm not gonna cry. I'm just gonna just be just gonna go. And I talked about Adam and talked about J-Bo dying. And normally that's the part that always gets me. And I was like, I'm solid, I'm good. And then I get to the end and I'm sitting in Shalane's office and I glanced over and I lost it. Had a full circle moment Not lost it in the sense that I was in her house. Like, she's like a normal person to me. That doesn't even get me anymore. It was the ripple effect. Like, full circle moment of the ripple effect of what she as one individual did for my life, my husband's life, our kids' lives, the 65,000, 100, whatever people, like, oh my gosh. Like, that is, it all just starts with a choice. And so that was just like, that's when I cried. Like, I drove down and I was like, dang it! I almost did it. But it's so true. You're so right. It's such a ripple effect. And as long as you remember that first circle has to start with you, it makes you think more strategically and put more thought behind everything you do, because it's just a ripple way or a bad way. So you just have to remember that you got to start it right with a good intention. So thank you. I appreciate that, Amy.
Yeah.
Cool. Are we good?
I think so.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys hopping on. You guys have a good day.
Thanks, Tara. Bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that to you all.
You're awesome. You really are.
We love you, Lauren. You don't have to.
And I don't need you to tell me that, but I just really struggling to take the next step. Like she said, your team gets to the pinnacle and then you want them to be with you. And so you push, but I'm pushing in the wrong way. So I need to get over it. But I don't read books. I hate them. So I don't want to read a leadership book.
You hate to read?
I don't like to sit still. I can listen to it, but yeah. Anyway, so I'm trying.
The same lesson, but way earlier than you are. I was pushing my team, and they're all like rebelling against me now.
Mine too. Oh.
Backpedaling, trying to.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, because like we went through the first year and working really tightly with coaches because the team was smaller, and so I totally get where you guys come from when you're like, I need to work in my team as a smaller unit, but I was just working with those people who wanted to grow and working one-on-one with them, and they just went from like starting to a coach to boom. And then same thing going from 7-star, and I just use the numbers to reference like how many people, 8 people at once getting the diamond in like 4 months. And that was us being in chat groups together and growing together. So I'm doing the same thing and something's not connecting. So either I don't, and I can't put my finger on it, and people are getting frustrated that they're not growing and they're looking to me for the answers. And I'm like, I can't, no one can do this for you. And so you want me to push you, but because you're not seeing that fruit, you're not seeing that growth, you're getting upset at me. Your dog's cute too. So I'm at a loss. And then when your team does get bigger, you want to invest in your leaders and you want to have that same relationship, but we're all pulled in different directions. So the relationship changes, and I don't like change. I've had too much of it in this military career that I'm sick of it. And so I just want everyone to get along and hold hands and be the same, and everyone to go on vacations together. That's what I want. So
I want us all to live next door.
I never get anything done. One's done.
Go for walks.
We would have to build a gym. We work out together. But yeah, I just do you do an emerald group? Do you do a diamond group? When you would do a diamond group, if it's just me investing in the diamond group, so many people are getting lost. And I'm not this team. And I have a really hard time getting on these calls and talking about me because I hate it. But I want to be what you guys need. And I don't think I am. And so I'm struggling.
I get a lot out of what you do and what you teach us. And I mean, I've grown just in the last month from the calls and things that you've posted, honey. I mean, you give a lot to us. You know that notebook I showed today earlier? I'm proud